Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with my must-have top favorite brushes. All of these brushes are brushes that I use every single time that I'm doing my makeup, and the ones that I don't use as often, I will let you guys know that I'm mentioning them for the sake of the video, but I don't use them as often. So I'll just kind of like let you guys know as the video goes on. So first of all, I'm going to start with a tool that's not a brush, but literally it's the only thing that I use to apply my foundation, and I'm sorry that it's dirty because I just used it to do my makeup for this video, and it is a beauty blender. It is this tiny little sponge, and it actually doubles in size. When you wet it, you're supposed to use it wet. You run it under the sink, squeeze it a couple of times so it can absorb the water, and then once it doubles the size, you just wring out all the water and make sure that it's nice and damp, and it gives you the most flawless and beautiful foundation application ever. So that's the first thing that I use for my face. So now I'm going to start with all over face brushes. First I'm going to start with two powder brushes. These are my top two powder brushes that I have. This one I actually do not have a name for. I got this brush in one of the holiday brush sets that comes into Walmart every year. By the way, those brushes are amazing. Every single year during Christmas time, Walmart comes out with a set of brushes that's about $10 to $15, and every single year I get this set, and every single year, every single brush is amazing. So this is the powder brush from that set, and then another powder brush that I use all the time is the Duo Fiber Real Techniques brush. So these are my go-to top powder brushes, but I don't normally powder my face. I have normal skin, and most of the time without setting my foundation it'll still last. So these I don't use every time that I do. Thank you, rude alarm. Alright, so these I don't use every single time that I do my makeup, but when I do need to pull for a powder brush for any reason, these are the two babies that I go for. Alright, so for bronzing brushes, my favorite contour brush is the Duo Fiber Real Techniques brush. I love this brush because it really gets into like the crevice of your natural hollows. So it actually amplifies your natural hollows rather than just like making a mess on your face. It's like so nice and precise. I love this brush for contouring. It's actually the only brush that I use for contouring at the moment for the last couple of months. I feel like I always try new brushes and I always end up going back to this one. So yeah, this is the one that I use to contour, and then to kind of just like bronze up the face and add more warmth to the cheeks, I use this BH Cosmetics brush. It's from one of their sets, is brush number 1. It's the only set that's like white and gold. So if you have the white and gold set, is brush number 1. And this brush is actually the brush that I use today to apply my bronzer, and this brush I literally use every single time that I do my makeup. I haven't really been into the chiseled contour lately, so this one has been taking a backseat, even though every single time that I'm going to actually contour my face, like go in on it, this is the brush that I grab. But lately, since I've just been kind of like bronzing a little bit, not so much like crazy contouring, this is my go-to brush, and I use this brush every single time that I do my makeup to bronze my face. Alright, so now for a blush brush, I use a tiny brush. I hate the big blush brushes that just give you like that pink streak all over your face. So this is the e.l.f. mineral powder brush, and it's just a round top brush, and I literally just like dab a little bit of powder like right here, like right on the side of it, and I kind of like slightly brush it over my cheeks just to give it a little bit of rosiness, but not too much blush because I hate that overpowering blush look. And yeah, so this is just a $3 brush, and I use this every single time that I'm doing my makeup. Alright, so you always need a good blending brush, because if you do not blend your face properly, nothing that you do on your face is ever going to look the same. I feel like any brush can be replaced with like any other little brush, but the only brush that can never be replaced is the blending brush if you want to have a flawless finish on your face. And these are my two favorite blending brushes. This is actually technically a foundation brush. I hate it as a foundation brush, but I love it. It's my holy grail as a blending brush, and this is the MAC 188. It is a little bit expensive. It's a $35 brush, so a cheaper alternative is the Small Stipple Brush by e.l.f. And I actually notice absolutely no difference when I blend with either of these two brushes. I just kind of have them both in the same little brush holder, and when I'm doing my makeup, whichever one I can grab first, I just grab that one and blend my face. There's absolutely no difference between the way that these two brushes blend out your face. If you're a makeup artist, I would say invest in a more expensive brush because they're more durable since you're using them all the time. But for me, the e.l.f. the e.l.f. Small Stipple Brush is the best. It's holy grail. And these are my two holy grail blending brushes. Alright, so two more face brushes and then we are moving on to eyeshadow brushes. Alright, so this brush is also from the same BH Cosmetics brush set that I mentioned earlier, the white and gold one. This is brush number 4. I use this brush to blend out my concealer under the eye, and I also use it to set the under eye area with powder. So I use one side to just like tap out the concealer, and then I flip it over and I use the other side to tap out powder to set my concealer. So this is multi-use. I use it for two different things, and this is a brush that I use every single time that I do my makeup, when applying concealer and when setting my concealer. So number 4 from BH Cosmetics white and gold set. Okay, this is the last face brush that I'm going to mention, and this is a holy grail brush for me. This is the Morphe M438 brush. This is the brush that I use to get that highlight poppin'. So I love this brush because it has a very, very thin tip. So I just kind of like dab the highlighter in the top, and I just like do a little bit, like streak it a little bit so it's like really stark, and then I just use the side of it to kind of like blend it out and like make the highlighter pop out a little bit more. This brush is amazing for highlighting. I love this brush more than anything. Alright, so now we're moving on to, actually no, I'm sorry, I'm gonna mention an eyebrow brush. I don't use an eyebrow brush currently. I have not used any powders or my dip brow in months. For the last, like, I want to say 4 or 5 months, I've only been using pencils to fill in my brows. But when I do use a powder or a pomade to fill in my brows, the only brush that I could ever use is the Anastasia Beverly Hills number 18. This is the brush that's on display at Sephora right next to like the pomades. The reason why this is the only brush that I can use is because a lot of eyebrow brushes are a little bit thicker and they're fatter, and my eyebrows, as you can see, I have no eyebrows. So brushes that are a little bit thicker and fatter don't give me that definition that I like. So, and then this spoolie is literally one of a kind. Like, you cannot find another brush like this. It's an $18 brush. It is a little pricey, but it's very durable. I got this brush about 2 years ago and it's still brand new. The spoolie is like in perfect condition, and so is the top. But yeah, like I said, I don't use it often, but when I do need to use a powder, this is my go-to brush. Alright, so now moving on to eyeshadow. So the brush that I've been using for months and months and months, those of you who watch my videos constantly know that this is always the brush that I use to blend out my transition color, and this is the Fluffy BH Cosmetics brush. It's just the regular fluffy blending brush, and this brush is amazing. I love using this brush as in the beginning when I'm doing my transition shade, and I also use it at the end when I'm completely done with the look, just to kind of blend all the colors out together. So this is the first brush that I use while doing my eyeshadow. It's just the regular BH Cosmetics fluffy brush. My second favorite brush that I love to use for my eyeshadow is this one, and this is also from that same BH Cosmetics white and gold set. So I would say that's a pretty good set because I have 3 holy grail brushes just from that one set, which was like $10. And this is number 6. This is a fluffy blending brush also, but as you can see, it's a little bit smaller at the tip than the regular one. So this one I go in with like a darker shade when I want to intensify my crease, and this one I just use also as a crease shade, but you know, just a little bit more definition with this one. The third brush that I'm going to mention, it came in that Walmart set that I mentioned earlier where my powder brush is from. So this one is double use. I also use this one to blend out a transition shade or a crease shade in my eyes, but this is the brush that I holy grail use to contour my nose. This is the only brush that I can use to contour my nose. I don't know why. I've tried other different fluffy brushes and none of them work. This is the only one that works. So I love this little brush, and I feel kind of bad that it was in the holiday set last year, but Walmart brings them back every single year. So hopefully this holiday season the set will come back, but this is from the gold set from Walmart, and it only brings one fluffy brush, so it would be this one. Alright, so I'm on a fluffy brush kick, but this is another fluffy brush. This is the M502 by Morphe, and what I love about this one is that all the other fluffy brushes that I mentioned are very loose, and they just kind of like blend seamlessly, but this one's a lot more dense and it has like a finer tip. So whenever I want to get like a darker color like right in the corner of my eye, this is the one that I use, and if you just use it lightly, the tip of it will give you like the most intense and precise application, and then you can also just like drag the color out, and it's not too dense that it'll like give you like a stark line. Like if you use it properly, you can definitely get like a really good color application in the corner and blend it in, and this brush is amazing. Again, that's the M502 by Morphe. So now for my shader brush, old school, e.l.f. $1 brush, and it's amazing. It gets the job done. If you wet it with a little bit of Fix Plus, you can use the shimmery shadows, and if you use it dry, it's just an amazing brush. Like, I don't know how this brush is so good and it's $1. And I also use this to highlight the brow bone. Alright, so then for smoking out my lower lash line, I have two brushes, and it is this one. It's a pencil brush also from a brush set from Walmart, and then this one is the little brush that comes in the Anastasia Beverly Hills, in the Resi palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So this is the brush. So I use this one. This one's a little bit dense and precise, so I use it with like a darker color, and then I go in with this one, which is a little bit fluffier, to kind of smoke out the color. And these are my two holy grail under the eye brushes, and I do use these brushes. All of these eyeshadow brushes that I've mentioned, I use them every single time that I do my makeup when I'm doing eyeshadow. I'm like dripping right now. My hair's full of coconut oil. Alright guys, so that was it for my must-have makeup brushes. If you guys have any holy grail brushes that you think I should try or incorporate into my regular routine, please let me know down below in the comments. Also, if you have any video suggestions for my channel, please feel free to give me suggestions down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye!